Meeting to order, Board of Public Works in City Hall, Monday, August 19th, 2024. Item number 2, approval of minutes of August 5th, 2024, Board of Public Works meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? Citizens' comments a third time. It looks like we have none. Item 4 will be construction updates presented by Tim Rasmussen, Street Superintendent, and Josh Moritz, City Engineer.
I'll take over for Tim. He's not going to make the meeting this evening. So through the last couple of weeks, he's been able to complete some ditching, tiling, and dirt restoration on 15th and Peach to Palmetto. And the last 2 weeks, he worked with American Asphalt to pulverize Palmetto, 15th, Locust, 11th Street, and 12th Mill and Place projects. His crew began work on 12th Street Central to Chestnut last week with 3 lateral replacements. And this week they're doing ditching and tiling, and sidewalk replacements will begin on the 12th. Central Avenue, they're planning to try to reestablish dirt as soon as possible and as soon as this work is complete. Their concrete crew completed the last color crosswalk intersections that were scheduled for this year on Central. They're now going to complete another round of catch basin repairs on Veterans Parkway, Oak Avenue, Chestnut Avenue. This round will expect to take about the remainder of August. The sign department has been working closely with the setup and the lane transitions for both Central veterans, making sure that traffic control needs are in place to keep the crews safe while working. They're placing no parking signs and working with other items to help for the closure of the fair this year. With the wastewater treatment plant, the tertiary building construction continues. They started excavating for the actual building and putting in some foundations here in the last week or so. And Mark's crew has been working with Earth Incorporated, and they're removing the grit from the south oxidation ditch, and that's probably be completed here shortly, if not already.
Okay. Josh?
All right, so construction updates for engineering contracted work. Green Acres, last week, as of last week, the sanitary sewer and water main installation is complete on 23rd Street, Ironwood Avenue, and 21st Street. Water main and storm sewer connections are complete at Washington Avenue, and the pavement restoration is also complete. They have roadway base built on 21st, about 300 feet east of Washington Avenue. And the developer, Denyon Homes, has basements, 3 basements in or nearly in so far. They're really gung-ho to keep developing. So that's where we stand on Green Acres. The other project is 14th Street. All sanitary, storm, and water lines have been completed. They're working on constructing the roadway. There is a little bit of curb work that was done on the west end. They have everything they're working, but everything's closed for the fair. There is a crossing that they maintain open on Cherry Avenue that will allow you access kind of the eastern or southern or western or southern part of the fairgrounds through Cherry. Otherwise, they continue to work within their work zone. And finally, the Adler Road multi-use trail, there was a pre-construction meeting last week on that. Earth Incorporated plans to start at this point on September 3rd. Questions?
I have one. So the work on 14th Street, will that work continue during the fair?
Yeah, they're planning on working. I didn't really get a feel for where they're hauling in and out of, but they've been made well aware to be extra cautious with the fairground entrance at Vine being open. They'll likely haul out from the other end.
So Vine will be open at, 14th will be open at Vine,
Completely.
the old main
yes.
entrance. Yep. And then also on Cherry, which would get you to the west entrance, I think, to the fair.
Yes, near the horse barn area.
Yeah.
Okay. That's being specifically done for the draft horse show to make sure that there's crossing there, and that'll be gravel, but it'll be open.
Yeah, it's well prepared for this. It's drivable, many barrels on each side. So they did a good job.
Just one more question. So at the beginning, we were expecting it to be wrapped up by fair time. How is that addressed in the contract?
There was a deadline. Things get factored in such as weather or other delays. There's been some delays due to other utility work in there. So that kind of all gets worked out at the end. At this point, yes, they are past the deadline, but we haven't negotiated any of that yet.
And our initial weather for the beginning of the season was rain, rain, rain. We had about 6 weeks of almost solid rain. All of our projects were delayed probably about 6 weeks to start.
That kind of language is in the contract.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Earth did manage to bring in a couple of crews. They were working consecutively to kind of speed things along. So they're actually not that far behind their anticipated schedule, but yes, it's not paved yet, obviously.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Item number 5, preliminary resolution for special assessments for additional 2024 asphalt paving project presented by Josh Mort, city engineer.
All right, so if you recall at the last board meeting 2 weeks ago, as well as the subsequent council meeting, we approved to add, or you approved to add the alley paving between Central and Maple from 12th to 14th Street to the 24 asphalt paving program. So this preliminary resolution is just to establish the special assessment process for that project. I believe there are maybe 8 properties affected. So I recommend that resolution 2024-22 be approved.
Will entertain a motion. Motion by Flair.
Second.
Second by Werman. All those in favor?
Or any discussion?
Oh, do you have a question?
Aye.
Oh, all right.
Do you have a question?
I was just wondering, so these are Main Street properties that are impacted?
Yes. There are some residential properties on the east side of the alley as well.
Okay. Thank you.
In fact, I was contacted by one of them today, inquiring about how she could have some of her private asphalt done at the same time. And we've always directed them that who our asphalt contractor is, and those are all private arrangements. There's some interest in some of that.
Okay. Great. Any other questions? Okay, we'll try that again. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, request purchase of fleet equipment presented by Tom Turchi, Director of Public Works.
All right, within our 701 account, we use that for our fleet related maintenance, supplies, and equipment purchases. Currently, our street division is responsible for managing routine maintenance of street and crosswalk painting. The crew that is assigned to manage these responsibilities also manages all other traffic control and sign-related needs within the city. Several factors have caused this crew to drastically fluctuate over the past 5 to 8 years. This fluctuation has caused deterioration in the street crosswalk remarking schedule. In 2024, we are working to help correct deteriorated crosswalk markings by reassigning existing staff to have more consistent role in traffic control department. So this has been we've been able to have additional staff receive training from our experienced sign technician. It is not feasible to pull more staffing away from other summer projects. Yet in 2024, we feel it's possible to complete all the painting as defined on the 2008 Safe Routes to School plan. In 2025, we plan to continue to dedicate staff sufficient to handle our existing traffic control needs, along with continuing crosswalk and marking pavements. We believe this upgrade to our paint machine will allow for a more efficient painting process with the staffing that we have. Between the additional resources of personnel and new painting equipment, we continue to prioritize street and crosswalk paint marking. So this was in our plan for 2025 for the purchase, so it takes a while for these purchases to go through. The attached quote specifications for the truck are here. We have Ascendance Truck Center chassis at $51,442.64. And we have the Vogel Traffic Services Incorporated doing business as Easy Liner Paint and Equipment Installation at $197,739 for a total fiscal impact of $249,181.64, utilizing 2025 701 Internal Service Fund. Therefore, staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve the purchase of the Isuzu chassis from Ascendants and the paint equipment from Vogel Traffic Services for $249,181.64.
Entertain a motion? Have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Mormon? Any comments, question?
I wasn't familiar with the brand as far as being in this line of work, Isuzu.
I think,
And
I think that's kind of the standard chassis they like to try to connect to this type of specific
yeah,
vehicle.
and I see Midstate reps them, distributes them, but, so Midstate would service that vehicle, or how would that?
Well, I think under warranty, we'd probably have the the Isuzu service that. I'm not sure how that works, but after it's out of warranty, then we would do the service work for it.
And I didn't dive in deep enough, but where are those made? Are they made in the US or are they made overseas?
I can't answer that for you.
Any other question? I have a question that you mentioned it would expedite the process with this new equipment. Do we know how that will happen or what percentage we anticipate? I mean, is the old equipment shot? Is that-
The current truck we have and equipment we have was purchased used, and it is a maintenance headache to try to keep up and running. Yes, this will make things a lot more efficient. They'll be able to take and not have to switch pieces of equipment as often just to do hand painting, because that truck actually has setups where you can actually pull a wand off and do that right there on the spot without having to take and do a lot of additional setup.
Just seems to me for $250,000, we could almost hire that work out. Has that been reviewed?
Well, when we hire it out, we typically hire it out for epoxy painting, and that's where they sandblast and put epoxy painting. We don't get very far with $245,000. I'm trying to think, I did an estimate for Main Street. They wanted to have epoxy painted bike lanes on Chestnut and Maple and South Central, where we have our bike lanes, and to do epoxy painting of the green, those green ones was about $30,000 a block. So.
Oh, business to get into. Okay. Well, I guess no more questions. We'll open it up for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7, recommended items for future agendas.
I have one.
Go ahead, Derek.
I just actually kind of wanted to open it up real quick. Tom, maybe this doesn't need to be an item. Do we have a map that shows like signage for ATV traffic or anything like that? I mean, is there safety signage that goes out for that?
We have a map. It's actually on our website. We advertise that several times. You go under City Marshfield Engineering Division, and it has a current map of what streets are open, what streets are closed, and what streets are actually part of the actual route, and which ones get you to that route.
Does that include the signage that would be there for safety? Like if there's speed limit signs or ATV crossing signs or anything like that?
We only label the routes. They have to obey all the other traffic signs that are out there. The only place that we have a limit that's different, speed limit that's different than the signing plan is on Galvin Avenue, where it's posted at 45 miles an hour, or 45 miles an hour. We actually have that one down to 35 for UTs.
So then before I make this an actual future agenda item, this might be an easier answer. Is there some place that a citizen could go? I had someone reach out to me about concerns about ATV traffic in their area on the side roads because there isn't a lot of safety signage or speed limit signs coming down those roads that they are following. So it's a lot of uncontrolled intersections. and they had some concerns with the ATV traffic. Is there a good spot that they could go, that they could actually put in a request, or would it be best to review that in a meeting like this? In the future?
Request for,
Possible increased signage over there, or maybe like a yield or stop sign in this unsafe area.
okay. Yield and stop signs are very specific on how we set those up, and it's based on the actual current level of service and safety of that intersection. If we have no traffic crashes in an intersection, we just don't put signs up because they're more or less useless. In fact, it'll actually create more speeders in areas. There's been studies by the Institute of Transportation Engineers and several other things. So we specifically want to use those the way that they're directed in the ITE and MUTCD, because we want to try to reduce number of traffic accidents. For example, when I first started back in 1995, we were seeing about 600 and some odd accidents per year, and we're down to around 300, below 50, I think it's like a 52 or 56% reduction since then. So, and then we're trying to be consistent means that people who are even not from our community react to the intersections consistently, and that's what we want to try to do. And yeah, we do take a look at requests that come out, and we do traffic studies periodically in different locations. And we do review, we have all the traffic crashes in the city of Marshfield. I have them from 1994 all the way through to today.
Okay, so this may be best as an email, then I can just send you
Yeah.
to see if there's something that we could do then. Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Okay. With that, item 8 is we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
A motion.
Okay.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're
So
adjourned.
the